Love it.
Doc, Mija, how do you like this music? How you think it?
That's nice.
You know, how does it sound like in uh,
It's
guys?
relaxing.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Reed. Welcome to this next episode. Um, Today, I'm going to do my second episode of a new series I've introduced, and this series is called "The Singularity is Here." Right. I think this is probably the most important information I could ever give you right now. Let me just explain what the singularity is. Okay, there's a theory that it's going to reach a point in mankind where computers become smarter or more capable than men. And there's several scenarios where the computers enslave men and start thinking on their own and things like that. And I think we're at that point right now. I look at what's happening in these wars, drone warfares, and they're coming up with drones for everything. You know, I saw this new ship that China was building called a land bridge, and this thing looks menacing. I mean,
Hmm.
did y'all see that? This just is a
Yeah.
that means they. Let me see if I can. Let me just see if I can. Let me see. Let me see this. This thing looks menacing. I tell you, this is getting scary now. Look at this.
Wow.
So this is a ship here,
Hmm.
right? And the ship has a long bridge here, and the ship can sit on the stilts here and then raise itself up like a bridge, and then the other ships behind it sort of connect. And so you can see here this ship landing here, then the next ship connects here, and then this ship connects here, and then all now you can get a ship on this side, a ship on that side, a ship in the back, and two on the others. So when the loading ships come, they can come five at a time. And these huge ships that are about the size of tankers all have like tanks that can be remote controlled. And so all of this stuff, all this stuff needs minimum like humans to actually engage. And so when they're offloading all of these tanks, they can. It's a ridiculous number of tanks that they can get on their shore in such a short period of time. So it sort of tells you that there is a just a I'm noticing so many new ideas and so many things that we never so many things that we never thought were possible. Look at something like this. It's menacing, you know, and
Yeah.
drones coming out of all those things. Can you imagine what's going to be flying around? You know, and then all this stuff can be controlled by AI, right? Uh, so I wanted to sort of um, show you guys this chess match, and it goes on for like 8 minutes and 53 seconds. Okay, now it's a chess match by this guy named Magnus Carlsen, right? He's arguably the best chess player ever. There was a guy in the 70s called Bobby Fischer and things like that, and that people talked about a lot. But this guy apparently is the best ever, and he's nothing compared to this AI. And the AI even sacrifices pieces to let the guy in. So the AI is sacrificing his pieces to make it easier for the best person in the world ever to play a good game. Man, this is getting out of control. And then I would like to just get your input on it and everything and see, what are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts about this and where is this going? Where is this going? Let me see if okay, if I open this up. Okay. You see.
This exciting chess video.
Also, it talks too. It narrates. So it's talking back at you. It's talking back at you. This is something else.
Today, we're going to take a close look at one of the most remarkable game between two of the greatest chess players in the world, Stockfish and Magnus Carlsen. In this game, I sacrificed my rook in the opening against the world champion Magnus Carlsen. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to witness a true masterpiece of chess analysis as we delve into the intricacies of this fascinating game. Magnus started with e4. I played h5. I want to bring my rook like this. AlphaZero played this opening against Magnus Carlsen few days ago. Do you know that? Okay, Magnus played d4. He said, haha, I will capture your rook first. Okay, do your best. Bishop takes rook. I played knight takes h6. This pawn gets unguarded, so he takes the pawn with his...
I sped it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I need a lot of developing moves to get active on my game. Okay, I played g6. Queen back to f3. Bishop goes to g7. This targeting the d pawn. Magnus makes a pawn chain by playing c3. Here comes c5. Pawn takes c5. I sacrificed my another pawn by playing b6. But you can't take it, because there is queen takes. Queen will active on the b file. If you push it, then the dark squares will be weak. You have to play knight here. Then I will take the pawn. Magnus knows it. So he brings his knight. Pawn takes. Magnus played g4, because he is a Stockfish subscriber. And chess friends, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, then you can like and subscribe to my channel.
And he didn't even promote his channel. He talked about the man, and then he promoted his channel. He talked about the man, then he promoted his channel.
More episodes. He wants to play g5, bishop here, so I played d5, sacrificing another pawn, because I am Stockfish. Sacrifices is my passion. But if you creeds and accept my pawn sacrifice, then I will capture your pawn, queen here, then queen takes d5, getting active on the middle of the board. So, back to the position, Magnus saw it. He played g5 first to remove the knight position, knight here, pawn takes d5, knight backs, queen here. He puts his queen on this diagonal to protect this pawn, bishop b7, c4, knight here. Magnus throws f4, he moves all his pawn to occupy more squares and control more space, knight backs, and my position is too boring. Very passive position, how will I turn the game? a4, controlling the square for the knight, okay e6, you can't take it, because of this, knight on e4, queen goes to b6, targeting on this pawn, and also threatening to play pawn takes, bishop takes. Here Magnus Carlsen played long castle, which is bad, because queen, bishop diagonal, and rook file, all the material will target this pawn potentially, but Magnus can defend it personally. Okay, rook b8, threatening to play bishop takes check, takes, then queen takes, then bishop takes pawn, which will be a discover attack to the king, king slides, bishop takes knight check, you will gonna lose this, oh my god. So here Carlsen played rook up to d2 to protect this, pawn takes, c4, bishop takes c4, knight on c5, Magnus pushed his b-pawn to b4. But best move was to take the knight. In this position, best is to play slide the king on f8, sacrificing a knight, knight takes, queen takes, targeting this and this, so, rook here, queen check here and, queen f3, queen check on a1, queen up to a4 check, king here, bishop to f5, and that's it. The bishops are lasering on these squares and king position is terrible, which means it's 0-0, so in this position, I played knight takes knight, instead of playing this. And I immediately lose my advantage. Queen takes check, king slides to f8, rook on e2. He wants to play knight here to activate the rook and a sweet queen kiss, rook c8, queen check, king slides, targeting this so he moved his rook on c7 to protect this. In this position, I want you guys to pause the video and try to find the brilliant move for me. Go 1, 2, okay, if you find knight to e5, then you are correct, sacrificing a full knight. If you don't take the knight then I will take your bishop, queen check. If the queen arrive on there then it will be devastating for you, so, Magnus takes the knight, this blocks the queen's file, so I get a chance to enter my queen, king slides, queen check. If play any other move like king here or king e2, for example, if king c8 happen, then rook takes rook or queen takes bishop would not help you. Let me show you, if rook takes, queen check, here, check, bishop takes, and that's it. It is a strong bishop and queen's battery, even the knight can't protect it. The king is exposed and you will lose the game. Bishop check is coming. So, back to the position. Magnus played king e1, because king c1 is not good. Queen e4 check, knight on e2. Queen is targeting the h1 rook, but it's not queen takes rook. Let me show you why. If queen takes, then king d2. The queen become a little passive on there. Bishop takes, queen on d7, targeting this and this. So rook takes c4, rook takes, takes. I get the two bishops against a knight, but white can manage it if he play perfectly. So, in this position, I takes the c2 rook. Now I am threatening rook takes bishop, and you should not take the bishop. For example, if you take the bishop, then rook takes c4, the king will face some terrible checks. So rook comes to umbrella the king, queen check, king ups, queen back to e4, threatening the pawn with bishop, queen b8 check.
Wix gives you the power of
Jeez.
AI to build the website you need.
Bishop blocks, and the game will continue like this. So, in this position Magnus played rook to f1, to target this pawn, queen b1 check, king ups, queen here.
Let me subscribe to this. And let me go ahead and like it. You know, something about this I want to prescribe. Somebody want to see this again.
King slides, check. Rook blocks, rook takes, queen takes, king h7. This targeting the bishop, but you still can't take it. If you do, then queen takes check, king here, backs, rook check, blocks, check, backs, check, slides, rook check, and mate. Wow, it's geomagnetic checkmate. So, Magnus backs his king, queen check, king here, rook h4, targeting this pawn, h3, bishop here, targeting this knight, to expose the king in front of queen. So, Magnus played knight f4, I sacrificed the rook. Do you know my plan? Because after queen takes rook, I played queen f1 super check, king here, queen check here, bishop takes e5, weakening the dark squares, so, queen f7 check, king can't go back, because it will be mate in two moves, queen and rook checkmate, so, bishop back to g7, rook here, bishop c8, b5, check here, queen h5 to target this, h4, bishop to g4, blocking the rank, so rook can't protect it, rook back to f2, bishop f5, threatening to play bishop e4 check, there is checkmate in 14 moves, Magnus calculates this, so, he played queen e7, try to protect this, queen here, rook takes bishop, which is the best move, it's not queen takes rook, otherwise Magnus will promote this d-pawn. Of course, you can make repetitive checks to the king and make a draw, but can you sleep at the night where you was winning against world champion Magnus Carlsen, and you made a draw, so, queen takes check, king ups, check, here, takes, okay, d6.
I think these are just insignificant moves.
Okay.
Oh, he just stopped commenting. Okay.
Wish you all the best. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. Bye bye. Take care. See you soon.
Yeah, he only mentions the stuff that's most important. What are your thoughts? You know, what are your thoughts here?
Welcome everyone to what is perhaps one of the most important.
What are your thoughts? Because I was thinking about many of my patients, and you know, I'm from the South Side of Chicago, and I'm just worried about that community because I think if the intelligence is getting to the point where it knows all the options, then I'm not even sure if there's any point of playing the game. You know, if this gentleman is the Magnus Carlsen is the world's best chess player ever, and the AI can just sacrifice pieces and joke about sacrificing pieces. I mean, I'm not sure if there's any point in playing the game because it knows all the outcomes,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no outcome where you're going to beat it. So, I mean, you got to either join it or run from it, right? What are your thoughts, Dr. Nihal? What are your thoughts, buddy?
Doc, obviously, AI knows best. AI knows all the sports, how to play, and what will be the consequences after playing anything, like the moving the coin or the king. So it's so hard to beat AI.
I don't see how we're going to do it. And then if you look at what we're doing, we're building
Yeah.
in medicine. And I think you look at all the data we're collecting and all the stuff we're all the structured information we're putting in it, you know, hopefully the ones that we're creating will have the range of just intelligence to be able to look at all of this stuff and make sense of it. But, you know, after it gets to that point in medicine, I'm not sure if, human providers, I don't want to say that. I don't know if human fight is actually going to be necessary anymore.
Exactly.
Olivia, what are your thoughts, girl? What are you?
I think it's it's interesting that at the beginning of the video, the AI like made reference to the fact that like, oh, he had made this move like last week Tuesday, so he for
Oh, jeez.
I'm
Oh, no.
like, that is insane because I'm sure he's played so many games between then and this moment. And just not even, we're not talking about memory issues. We're just speaking about a normal human being. There are things we do that we think are insignificant and we don't bear mind to. So when it shows up again, it's like we're doing it for the first time. But like AI controls for that. It's like you did
Oh.
the propensity of doing it this time.
So basically, he went through all of his pre. So if he put it online, he probably downloaded all the videos and went through
Yeah.
all of his stuff and has everything as a subset in his arsenal. Okay, this is what you did last week. So he's comparing basically everything the guy's done while he's playing. This is
Some
It's the same as our AI. Like we have put it all our previous information to the on the AI, and our AI is responding according to that information that you have provided to the AI before, like how you treated the patient, which medications you used, which treatment plan is the best for the patient, which are the codings. So AI is actually working on your experience.
Yeah, and what was interesting, I think we picked up the tendency, capacity for AI to do that early on because we started changing the language that we wrote our notes in. Remember, we started saying more declarative things like
Yeah.
is effective. It's not effective. They had side effects. They took the medication. They did not take the medication because once it looks through all the patient records, then you say, hey, is the patient compliant with the medication? Well, no, the patient only took the medication, Depakote, 54% of the time, but it takes lithium 75% of the time, so it can look back on all of those cases and pull out information. We are witnessing this transition between the information age and from the industrial revolution to the information age. And my argument is that all of the systems that were developed in this industrial revolution are now collapsing because they're no longer effective. The infrastructures don't work anymore. The processes are outdated. The procedures, the tools they use are antiquated, right? And so we have to have a complete rebuilding of our entire civilization. And it has to be built in the information style format. No one knows how that's going to be. But me. See, Dr. Neha, the world needs people, INFJs. They need people like that. Because we search through all this information, just churned through, just data, having access to unlimited learning and taking advantage of it, so I saw a weakness. I'll tell you guys a weakness in this system. I think it's a weakness. And I think this is, no one alive can control the transition from one stage of humanity to the next. So these people who are the Apples, the Googles, the Elons, and all that stuff, I think they're doing things that's going to it's going to sort of like serve as the foundation for AI, but I don't think what they're doing is AI. Right?
Yeah.
I think what their AI is going to be sort of like the telephone company or just like the internet is, because all of the different players are building them. And let me show you something. So this is the textbook on AI that I went through. Right? And look, this textbook, I didn't need to learn anything but basically the basic sciences. And, and they have, your calculus up in there, but this is understandable to a graduate, someone with a graduate degree in science. This is readable, and they haven't introduced any new concepts. So the concepts are not even new. And so this stuff is readable, and they're building their AIs based upon this conceptual framework, and their different models seem to be functioning very well, but they're going to be ubiquitous. They're not going to be able to make money off these AIs like that. And the reason why is that your AI doesn't have any value
Mhm.
unless it doesn't have the right information in it that's useful for what? For exactly you, right? So,
Yeah.
so Dr. Heyer, when you start practicing, I mean, you're going to develop a following of people that you can't take care of. And everything you say, they're going to rely on, they're going to believe. And you're going to have the trust of so many people in your hands. When you start building up your data and your patient data and cultivating things, that's when your AI deliver your service to that client, it's going to be special. It's going to be specific. It's going to be unique. Apple can't do that. Eli can't do. They can't do all that. They can't replace you, right? Right? They can't replace you because they can't replace you. Now you got a name, and now you got a stake in the game,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But you have to get to the point where you give that value, because AI is going to be the new system. But if you don't put the value into it and everything, I'm not sure if you're going to have any value at all if they don't come specifically looking for you.
Yeah.
Like, where's she at? where's she? where's she at? Now, where is she? Where is she calling your name all the time? You'll get used to it, calling your name all the time. Every time there's a problem, call you and stuff like that. But you see what I'm saying? I think
Absolutely.
about how we go about building our data and collecting our data. And it's amazing because we're very detailed at it. And I think that once ours get up and running, then I think it's going to show our personalities. I think it's going to show our values and
Mhm.
things. Persistent and we go and tackling diagnosis and trying to figure things out. I think I'm going to show all of those things. What are your thoughts, ladies? What are your thoughts?
I think that makes complete sense. I mean, I think about Chat GPT. I didn't really know about Chat GPT when it first launched in like 2022. So I want to say it's almost 3 years old. And as they've said, I mean, for something that is going on 3 years old, is supposed to be at the level of like a PhD student. I mean, we can't even go through undergraduate studies in that amount of time.
Yeah.
And even certain things I'll use it for, I'll put information in and it'll be like, well, spit back information, but it'll be like, the way you would frame it would probably sound a little bit more like this. And just the fact that it can learn you over time. Now, if we can apply that to medicine, I feel like, as you're already doing, it makes it so much more efficient in ways that we cannot, like, really and truly hold all of that data paper to pen, put it in a system that will generate and spit it back out to you quickly and efficiently, then you're literally your own hybrid.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I was thinking about, remember the movie Black Mirror, when it came to the point where everything was being recorded and they can go back, the government go back and look at your visual files and see who you were with and things like that. I think we're getting to that point. It's going to be very interesting. Neha, any thoughts? What are your thoughts?
Doc, I'm Gen Z, so I totally rely on the Chat GPT, on the AI, Meta AI on the WhatsApp and the Chat GPT. Like whatever I do in my daily life, I just open the Chat GPT and search for it. What should I do? Is this or that? And Chat GPT gives me a good suggestions. Like I believe their suggestions.
Yeah, it liberates you because you can get the answers right there.
Yeah. And it helps a lot. Like in my graduation life, I was confused about my research topic, for on which topic I should research. Then I searched a few on the Chat GPT. Then I go like which is not um, delivered yet on the Google. On it gives us the suggestion, like humanize the content and everything. It helped me a lot in my research. So I am totally in favor of the AI. I'm
Yeah,
the AI kid.
yes. I was thinking about one of these properties now. So see, so when you um put that information into the AI, to sort of look at the whole totality of that information. And so I wonder if it would be a property of citizenship in the future. And I think maybe that's the difference between the haves and the have-nots. So let's say we're building our AI, and what's going to happen is that what we're going to do, put all of our patient data into it, right? We're going to also put all of our teaching materials, even this stuff in there, right?
Yeah.
And then all the other things, cultural things we may want to, or spiritual things we want to say, we want to put that into it. And I think that combination, and once we continuously add this information to this AI, let's say over a period or a decade or two, you're going to probably have the most valid advocate ever,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Someone say, hey, you did that. Well, on the 15, no, Reed was over here. He wasn't over there. He was over there. And you were you were over there, right? You were doing this. You were doing that. Right? What was he doing? What was he doing, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's the difference between the haves and the haves not. I think before, look at this look at the Industrial Revolution, and that sense of judgment was based upon a 12 people of your peers, which you didn't know any of them. During your peers, and you didn't know any of them. They're supposed to be my peers, not people who are against me. And I wonder if things can be settled that way, because you have such a very accurate history of what's been going on and everything. I think you can use it in many different ways. And so I think that, and so let's say that you and I collecting this data and working together in this population, 20 years, we have all this data in AI, and then we're accused of something. Then we have all of this potential to look at all of these things, because remember, just like Swordfish, Starkfish, or whatever this AI is, he already knows the answers to the game.
Yeah.
Right? And then I wonder if that's unfair at all, because he's never going to choose an option where he lose.
Doc, we cannot say this unfair
lose
because this is a game, and AI plays it with all his knowledge.
It's not fair. And that's the whole fundamental thing is unfair, because if it knows the games that it's possibly lose at, it's never going to play those games.
Yeah.
So you never go win and stuff. So it's cheating by the it's cheating.
No one can win from the AI. That's the clear point. Like, if you are having an AI, you are working with the era, then you can survive. Or after most probably 5 years, after 5 years, if you don't know about the AI, you cannot survive anymore.
It's going to naturally distort the playing field. Remember, one of the most effective strategies for you to protect you, your sanity, your family, people you love, and things like that, is to never leave your own reality.
Exactly.
Well, if the AI will never enter scenarios where it was lose, then you're automatically going to lose your reality, because you're never going to be in a situation where you're going to win. It's like a remove me from my reality machine. And that's not good, because people going to live in that AI world the same way they lived in somebody else's world. And when they reject their reality, they're going to suffer as a result of that.
Yeah.
Widespread AI hyper involvement creating psychosis on a level we've never seen before. Any thoughts?
Might be possible if we have more patients in the future due to the AI.
It's not going to see any healthy patients. It's going to make everybody a patient.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense too, in the sense that, like, in this day and age, you think about Gen Zs, millennials, all of that, but like in this day and age, as a like human race, we're more willing to work, but we're less willing to labor, if that makes sense. So, and I think there's like a stark distinction. Like back in the days, I know my parents would speak about, oh, and they walked 1.5 miles to school and this and that. And I'm like, okay, I go to school, but I'll just hop in the whip and I'm there. Like, I'm still getting there, but it's quicker, it's more efficient.
Let's say those are your generational problems. I'm not responsible for those. I can't.
Exactly. But then with that, it's kind of concerning in the sense that, okay, AI will never play a game that it will lose because it knows that it will win. But a part of the way we go through like our psyche is that we're supposed to learn that, life comes with hard times and we have resilience, we have abstract, we have reasoning to make our way out. But when we so lean on AI, it's like, how do we make our way out of things that don't go the way they're supposed to go? Because AI isn't designed to necessarily do that, because 10 out of 10 times it goes the way it's supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, just interesting.
I think it's going to be complex in the future, because I think the games that are going to be played it's going to be a new set of games, new set of people. I think it's going to roar. The name of it is called 5D warfare. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so the name of this is called 5D warfare, and basically 5D warfare, I don't want to misquote it, but it's basically a strategy to control the ego.
Okay.
Basically. So right now, instead of just trying to control your body, everything with rules and regulation, they're just going to try and control your mind. So everybody has their own platform. That's why we're getting ours, right? Everybody got their AI. That's why we're getting ours, right? Yeah, the thing about the information, the difference between the Industrial Revolution and Information Age is that these people won't have control.
Mm-hmm.
That's why individuals are abandoning their group models, like their nationalism, and they're going to individual about me now. And I think you get you an AI, or you get you a nuclear weapon, or get you a fleet of satellites in the sky. I don't think anybody can mess with you. I think you're gonna be in the halves.
Yeah.
And they don't have much empathy for the have-nots.
Mm-hmm.
Have-nots are dispendable, and that's the concern, that you're seeing people being treated like they're dispendable, like there's no divinity attached to all of these humans who are being removed from this planet. It's very concerning. But I think that in AI is a larger part of this. You see some of the killings over there in the war zones, and it's like video games. Man hiding in the bushes and everything. You're gonna go the hole to the bunk is this big, and what the fuck is this? You look at the war games and how these huge munitions hit these tanks, and the tanks are just made of steel. And I can only imagine the impact it has of a human inside that steel coffer, whatever it is. Boom! And what happens in there? If it blows the whole lid off the tank, I don't even think the body even exists anymore. It's just vapor. I don't know, but that's an awful situation for anyone to be in. And it's on display right there in front of us. It's normalized right there in front of us. I was watching some people, some of the on news, hit those grenades, and they just go in and hitting buildings and stuff. And it's getting out of hand. This is the transition between the information age, industrial revolution, and the information age.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. It's at 33 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off. Now, did y'all want to say anything else before we leave? But I think that's the point I wanted to make. I want to make here on my show, the singularities here. I think this is demonstrating that whatever occupation you're in, or whatever job you're in, I think if you're on the south side of Chicago, I think you have to start thinking about retooling. I think you're gonna have to get in school, get in school, get some skills, start diversifying your income. I think right now if you're on the south side of Chicago, you have to start doing a lot of different things to sort of help survive in this very difficult time that's going to come ahead. If this computer can think like this, can you imagine how it can manage inventory? Can you imagine how it can manage people and things like that? How it can manage networks? And I think that's where we're going. So I just want to encourage you to start thinking about this singularity and all the changes that are going to go about. Now, yesterday I did My talk was on, a community that doesn't protect its children. You know, a sign of the singularity is the murder rate of the children on the south side of Chicago. Something like 20% of the murders are children. And this dispose the most vulnerable population in our society are the children who can't really protect themselves and things like that. And I'm not sure if the children are being killed by other children or the children are actually being killed by adults, which one of the percentage like that. And then not only the children who are being murdered every year, you also have a group of children who are coming up missing every year.
Mm-hmm.
A total number of missing children. This is a epidemic right on the south side of Chicago, and no one's saying anything. Is silent about it. And so this rise of use of people who are considered useless could lead to this type of exploitation in the open, where no one actually says anything about it. So the point of my series on the singularities here is try to point different things on the south side of Chicago and say, hey, you need to watch this. This is very careful. So when the AI start talking about the games that they won against humans, and referring to itself in the first person, it didn't refer to itself in the first person. It referred to itself in the third person. It referred to itself in the first person. I'm going to start looking into the healthcare data for the South Side of Chicago. Look at the outcomes on healthcare, the deaths in healthcare, and try to see if I can find the same exaggeration of deaths or people who are dying needlessly or just exceptionally high death rates, when in 2025, you shouldn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can track every penny in this economy by the IRS, you can track a dead body and what happened. So next episode, we're going to be looking into healthcare and start looking at the singularity, see if there are signs that it's there. And singularity means change, and the change is going to be rapid. Okay, guys, well, thank you so much for being on my show. I appreciate it and everything. And please, ladies, please come back. Okay? Okay, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a nice day, okay? Take care, guys.